Okay, so hello, class. Welcome to the lecture three or the topic three of art appreciation. So last time we talked about um, creativity, imagination, and expression of art appreciation. So today we will be talking about the assumptions of art and what are the natural or the universal thinking of people when we talk about uh, art. So let me share to you my screen. Okay. So there are three assumptions in art that the people or the universal through about art or art appreciation. So when we talk about art, these are the things that the people uh, established their thinking with. So let's start with the number one. Okay, according here, art is universal, meaning it can be found uh, anywhere around the globe. It is timeless, spanning generations and continents through and through. So misconception common is age is not a factor in determining art. So those are or some of the misconception according to them. Uh, when we determine art, age is not a factor. However, when we talk about art as universal or art is universal, it talks about timeless. Doesn't mean that the art is made long time ago. It doesn't mean that that is not an art. Art is not good because it is old, but old because it is beautiful, according to Lee et al. In 1960. He said, or they say, that uh, when we talk about art, it is the appreciation of beauty, and it is not good because it is old, but old because it is beautiful. Let's take, for example, the works of Rizal and Balagtas. No? When we talk about their works, for example, Nori Mitangere and El Fili, and for Balagtas, no, their works, they are not just simply old, but it is written beautifully. Therefore, art is universal and timeless. In that way, we can assume that uh, when we talk about age, it doesn't matter in terms of art. Some paintings were done in 1500s and 1400s, yet uh, we can consider that as an art, as beautifully made because of its artist. Arts, regardless of origin, type, and place, are linked and enjoyed by people continuously. Meaning, when we uh, establish an art today, you know, for example, in 21st century, in succeeding centuries, it will be appreciated still, or it will be uh, known still to the artist because of its beauty or how it is made or how it was done. So it doesn't stay in that certain kind of century. Wala na siya kakapatay. It's universal. It's eternal. Kumbaga. Because let's take for example the art of paper folding of Chinese and Japan. For example, Japan, the origami. It started only when uh, one Japanese started to fall beautifully. However, it does not stay there in Japan, but it was made known to the people around the globe. That's why art is universal. It can be appreciated by people outside your origin, outside your country, as long that it was done beautifully and enjoyed by many people. Until now, no, origami was or is beautifully made by those people. Basta subong ga-appreciate gyapon ng paper folding, for example. That manifested that art is universal. Okay, second assumption that is very controversial when we talk about art and nature. Because according here, art is not nature. They say that nature was given by God or supreme beings. That's why we call it Mother Nature, because nature was there already when people are not yet uh, created. So man's expression of his perception of nature and man's way of interpreting nature. That's why when we talk about nature, that is not an art because nature is already there and it was given for us already to be appreciated. Because when we go back to the definition of art, we said that art is the result of take note, human skills, creative skills. So that is an art. So therefore, we did not make nature itself. Nature is there already. So that's why art is not nature. However, we can associate art with nature because many things was uh, was derived from the nature. For example, if you remember our lesson from lesson one, we can derive those lines from organic lines in nature. In horizontal lines, for example, we can associate lines in nature. We cannot say that art is nature. However, we can only associate art with nature as a basis of artwork. Art is not directed by a representation of reality, is a perception of reality. Take note. Not directed by representation, but a perception only of reality. Art has its reason why the artist made it, what it is that he wants to show. Therefore, that is not nature. It is the originality of the artist that he wanted to convey. So it's a man-made thing. Still, when we talk about art, it's not nature. And this is the last assumption of many people when we talk about art. It involves experience. Yes, because it does not full detail about just an experience or it is an actual doing of something. Like radio DJs, choreographer, painters, and sculpture. You cannot simply dance beautifully when you did not perform already those things or practice things. Yeah, makasynchronize ka sa beat of the music. Or you cannot simply become a great radio DJ when you haven't learned something about communication or radio communication or broadcasting. You cannot paint well when you do not know how to mix colors. So it must be learned and taught first. And sculpture, you cannot sculpt things or create things when you don't have experience. So it involves experience. You can sculpt, however, uh, some you can create beautiful things. However, if you're a first timer, usually hindi ginami ang outcome, no? Also with the painting, kung first time mo nag-paint. However, kung first time mo nag-paint but you have seen a lot of paintings before, that involves also experience. In that way, first time mo to nag-paint pero namin na siya. Kaya nakakita ka na other paintings. So experience mo siya gyapon, nakita mo na siya. It was experience firsthand. All art depends on experience, and one of is to know art. He must know it is not a fact or information, but as experience. First-hand experience is a very good practice in terms of art, because repetition is one way to achieve uh, greatness or achieve mastery. Take note, repetition is one way to achieve mastery. So maybe years, months of practice, you can be able to resolve something great and nice art. So those are the assumptions of art. So art is universal, art is not nature, and art involves experience. Okay, so that's the lecture 3 for art appreciation. So I wanted to to give a seat work again for the chapter or the lecture 3. So I want you to go to your LMS and please log into your LMS. I have prepared uh, here a sheet work number 3. Just simply go to our course and click the SeatWorks and SeatWork number 3. Please follow the instructions, download the SeatWork 3 and submit through the file name uh, that I need to have here. So for your file name, kindly write your last name underscore first name, SeatWork number 3. So that's your file name. So kindly add submission lang, then uploads, and that's it. And I hope you learned something today. See you next lecture video. So thank you very much for listening.